Hey, my friends, Jeff here from HigherTrustMarketing.com and InfoMarketerZone.com. Happy to have all of you guys with me. Whether you're watching this on replay or whether you're watching it live, I urge you to share this with people. What we're going to be talking about today is branding secrets. Branding secrets of people like DJ Khalid, of Logan Paul, you might have heard of him. And then there's guys like Gary Vee and Grant Cardone. You know, all of the business types that are making it big. It's really funny because we've gone through an era in the 90s where businesses marketed themselves. They pushed their message out to audiences through TV, through radio, through different channels. And then we went through in the late 90s and into the 2000s, we get into blogging. And it was for a period of about 5 years, bloggers became celebrities. So we had these masterful bloggers that created this following. But in a lot of cases, these guys didn't know how to break out, and something was bubbling underneath that, and that was the social networking and especially video, right? And that's where you saw guys like Gary Vaynerchuk bubbling up and doing, taking his dad's wine liquor store and taking it online and creating entertaining content that branded himself, and in doing so created an entirely new channel to reach markets. And, there isn't a day goes by where we don't work with a coaching client, and we work with businesses, we work with small businesses, we work with corporations, and we work with individuals who are all trying to brand themselves in this new age. And they're still back in a lot of the corporations and even small businesses, even individuals. They're back in the day and age when you had to buy advertising, and they're still thinking of pushing the message out. When everything's transformed and it's changed, hasn't it? Right? You guys must know what I'm talking about. I mean, the people that are getting attention. Look, marketing is all about getting attention, right? It's getting, first of all, it's getting interest, and then it's getting engagement, and then it's getting response from all that attention. But you have to get the attention in the first place. You have to get the eyeballs. You have to go to where people are. You have to capture their attention, and the way that's being done today is primarily through social channels. It's being done through audio on Anchor. It's being done through podcasts on iTunes, and and it's being done through video, through YouTube, and through streaming video, just like this one on Facebook Live and Instagram. Instagram's blowing up in terms of where people are getting attention, and in terms of just images, as well as all the Instagram Live stuff and the Facebook Live stuff. And Snapchat started it all off, but it's these mainstream platforms where everything's going video and everything's going in real-time engagement with video. And so I wanted to go through 3 tips, branding tips, of how you can get better on those platforms in terms of capturing attention, engagement. And and a lot of it has to do with reverse engineering how some of the most successful guys like DJ Khaled, like Gary Vaynerchuk, like Logan Paul, like Grant Cardone, like all these guys that are dominating, and Lewis Howes, they're dominating. They each have different personalities, and you may not think when you think of each of those guys, if you know them all, they are quite different, and you may not think that they have anything in common, but really they do. And here's the 3 things we're going to talk about that they do have in common. So number 1, it's building your character, understanding what character you're going to bring to people. Gary Vaynerchuk was a character that was charismatic. He was a guy that was going to be able to talk charismatically, and he's going to, when he launched his wine show, his whole take on it was, wine had been stuffy. It was reviewed by stuffy magazines, stuffy organizations. He was going to take it mainstream. And what better way to do it? Mainstream platform like YouTube. You're going to reach a wider audience and just talk about shit. Talk about, in an entertaining way, talk about wine as if you were a regular person, and talk about the lower cost things. Get out of the stuffiness. And so that was his character. He actually decided and built that character. Now, and then if you look at Logan Paul, he's just an over-the-top guy, surfer dude, cool guy, living in California, and he's built up that character. Now, I'm not saying these guys fabricate. They're not pure actors. What I'm saying is you've got to identify, it all starts from truth, right? So you can't fake this. You've got to start from truth. So the way to start creating your character is to sit down, get rid of all the bullshit that, most of us have lived through the vast majority of our lives where we're taught to not be ourselves. We're taught to be someone else. We're taught to conform. We're taught to not be loud. We're taught not to speak up all the time, but to listen more than we speak, and not to tell people what we really think. And so what you need to do is kind of strip away all that stuff and say, what do I really believe? What do I stand for? Given all that I know and I've learned and I've experienced, what do I stand for in my field? What kind of an opinion do I have? What do I think is right and wrong? What do I see as an angle that maybe other people aren't covering? And then it becomes from a place of truth, and you got to start from there. But it doesn't stop there. A lot of people say, okay, well, I have an opinion. I have a take on this market. So it's my personality. I'm just going to get on there and talk about it. Well, that's not quite enough. That's where it starts, and you have to start from that place of truth. But the next things that guys like DJ Khaled and Gary Vee and Grant Cardone did is they started to embellish and build on top of that character. So they're not fabricating. What they're doing is they're taking their beliefs and they're being extreme with them, right? They're taking them, and it's the same thing as an actor would do. If you think of an actor in a movie, if they get inside the head of the role they're playing, they've got to actually, and this is even more so in the theater, where people are further away, is they have to embellish what they're doing. Whether it's a facial gesture, whether it's a line, whether it's a movement, they've got to embellish it, sometimes times 2, times 3, times 4, to be able to get the point across to the audience. And so that's what I'm really talking about here, is building on your truth, building on a true character, and then embellishing the key points of that so that your audience really gets it, and they take an interest, and they know exactly what you're all about. There's no middle ground. There's no fuzziness. Because that'll kill you. What's going to attract you to people, and yes, it will repel other people. That's okay. What you want to be is strong. You want to be embellishing your strongest points, your strongest beliefs, your strongest opinions, your strongest skills, your strongest talents. If your talent's telling jokes, great. If it's not, don't worry about it. A guy like Lewis Howes gets on his channel, and he's just a really nice guy, very enthusiastic, very rooted and very driven in his opinions. He's not a funny guy. He's not a charismatic guy, but he has millions of followers. And the reason is because he stayed true to himself, but he understands also how to get more out of and take his message to the next step, right, in front of his people. And so that's what it's all about in terms of building character. So I'd like you to be able to build your character as part of the initial part of branding, and that will get you a long way to knowing who you're talking to, because you have to consider the market that you're talking to, what your beliefs and opinions are. It will help you develop content, because you'll know exactly what type of content to develop. You won't be lost for what to say every day. You won't be lost for what you should be doing, or types of activities. And the other thing is, people like to have a lot of activity, like to see activity, and you're going to have to commit to sort of changing your life that way. If you just live in a bubble today, you don't do anything, you're not that happy, you're not that involved in your life, well, you need to get more involved, and it's all part of the embellishing and building out your character. But first it comes with defining the character, then you know how to build it out and how to go to the next step. So I hope that was useful as a first point. Now, the second point that all these guys have in common, and it's crucial to branding and crucial to building your brand quickly, is collaboration. And when you talk about guys like DJ Khaled, he's all about collaboration. I mean, he's built his entire reputation on his ability to collaborate. Well, what is collaboration? Collaboration is all about networking and understanding. That starts again with knowing who you are, knowing what character you are, and then going from a point of view of trying to understand, how can I build out the different parts of my collaborations given the type of audience I'm speaking to, and given the types of opinions and things that I want to communicate. So Grant Cardone's a great example. Is he runs interview shows just about every day of the week, where he purposely sometimes gets people on that align with his point of view to reinforce a given point. On other days, he'll purposely get someone he knows is not aligned to fire things up and to actually create disagreements and arguments and differences of opinion, which people love to see as well. And he balances those two things extremely well. And Gary Vee has started to do that as well, and he started to do the circuit where he now gets, not just having people nod their head all the time and agree with him, but he knows that getting online with some people that disagree or that maybe don't see things his way is actually more powerful. And he's having guests on his podcast. He's having guests on videos now a lot. So that's the other thing is understand you're never going to do this alone. Okay, the internet is too big. There's too many different players. You want to expand your reach, and you do that through collaborations, especially in the beginning. That's how you build a name for yourself. I mean, DJ Khaled was a DJ in New York City. He had a small network from that, obviously. But really, where things took off for him is when he started collaborating with some of the bigger names, and that can pull you into the big time very, very quickly, and pull you into more. All you need is one or two solid collaborations, and then other people are going to follow and they're going to want to collaborate with you based on the fact you've gotten the first collaboration. So it's not like you have to keep pushing a ball uphill. Maybe for the first couple collaborations, you got to push a ball up the hill. It's a little tougher. You got to find creative ways to get those collaborations. You got to really go after some of these people. But all it takes is one or two to get the ball rolling down the hill instead of up the hill. And then you can really take off and get these collaborations going and spread your whole message and spread your influence around the market. And then the third point that I wanted to make is all around being pervasive and not giving up and committing to a schedule where you're going to be 10xing your effort. It's using a Grant Cardone analogy here from one of his books, but you've got to go all out. You're not going to accomplish getting attention, interest, desire, building a brand online these days with doing a couple blog posts a week or doing a video a week. It's got to be day by day by day. You got to be putting interesting content. You got to be on a daily publishing schedule, as if you're creating one of the top TV shows in the world. You've got to be creating content every single day. You got to be doing Twitter, you got to be doing text stuff, you got to be doing audio, you got to be ideally doing a podcast, you got to be doing videos and then post those to your blog, and then social and doing the collaborations and doing the networking and building out your character. All that, you've got to commit to it for 30 days and go all out and do content every single day. And not only will you start to gain an audience and gain attention and gain engagement, which is very powerful, and sort of takes it to the next level, but you will start to get really good at it. You'll start to find your voice. In the beginning, it's going to be rough. It's going to be shaky. You're maybe not going to get as much attention. You'll have a few followers. You'll have a few viewers, but it will build over time if you stick with it. And sometimes it takes 10 days. Sometimes it takes a month. Sometimes it takes 3 months, but it will happen if you stick to it. And you keep improving your content. You keep improving what you're doing, and you stick to it on a regular basis, and you really just double down and work at it every single day. And you will start to get feedback. I've seen guys that are some of the least appealing and probably are making every mistake in the book, and just out of sheer consistency over the period of 3 to 6 months, they blow up. And it's mind-boggling to me that these guys actually have the followings that they do, but it's because they don't let up, and they do multiple streams. They take people on a ride from them. They let people into their lives, and they do content constantly 3 or 4 or 5 times a day, and different types of content, and they mix it up, and they take people wherever they go. And so that's the other part of it. So just recapping, create your character and embellish it, and really figure out how you can gauge interest out of the true character that you want to build. And number 2 is all about collaboration and networking. Get started with that, and know that again, the first couple are going to be the toughest, and then it will roll downhill. And then the third is be pervasive, and just go at it as hard on every single platform, because you never know what platform you're going to get that one champion follower that starts to spread you even further. Ultimately, and Gary Vee talks about this, you only need, I think he says 15 or 1,800 really loyal followers, and then they'll blow it up from there. I would argue when you're starting, you really only need 30 or 40 loyal followers to really get to the next level, where you can get those sort of 15 to 1,800, because that's where people stumble, is, in my opinion, is they just can't get out of the gate. Once you get things rolling, then it's like I said, it's that ball rolling downhill, and it's so much simpler. So I hope that was informative for you. If it is, share this with your followers, please, and like it up, and you know, the other part of this, by the way, is having a product to offer and how to monetize all of this. We're going to talk about that in other streams. I'm going to put a link down here to a free course where you can actually learn to develop your own products that you can then offer to those audiences, because that's the other piece of the puzzle that I have worked with people who are engaging, and they've built huge audiences either through blogging or podcasting or videos, but then they don't know how to monetize their content because they're so used to giving it away, and they've you know, their audience is so used to being given content, spoon-fed content, they don't know how to evolve into giving their advice in digital products, or at least selling them and creating them. That's what the course down below is all about. If you're interested in monetizing your audience and starting to build that as well, then I urge you to take that course. It's a free course. It's an awesome course. It's a course based on my $1,500 coaching program that we've taken many people through, and they've created successful products at the end of it. You know, $10,000 coaching clients have used it. So it really does work. We've used it to launch 14 products of our own across different niche markets. So I urge you to take that course. You know, it will only take you maybe 15 minutes a day for the next 5 days, and you'll know the inside and out of how to create your own product business online that you can then drive all the attention to and actually create monetization, create a business online so it's self-fulfilling. And then you've created not only a following and an interest, but you've created a business and you've created a new lifestyle for yourself where you can just be doing all of your effort into, you know, on the one hand, getting attention, driving traffic, driving interest, driving branding, and on the other side, driving product revenues that can allow you to spend more time driving traffic. Okay, so hope that was useful. Again, share it with everybody you know, because I think this is a common problem. Everybody, whether they're in a career, they're unemployed, or they're building a micro business, or whether they're a small business, or whether they're a corporation, has to understand how to brand themselves in today's day and age. And you got to follow the guys who are doing the excellent job of branding today, which is guys like DJ Khalid, Logan Paul, like Gary Vaynerchuk, like Grant Cardone. These guys are all on the leading edge of the next generation of getting attention and marketing and being pervasive online. So, all right, so I want you to share that with everyone you can, and we'll be back at you very soon. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye-bye for now.